Okay, we're now live on Facebook. So good evening, everyone. Good evening, IFNG. Good evening, Elite Squad. So now, Mama Dragon is with us. So Mama Dragon, take it away.
Hello, guys. Good evening. Welcome back. Oh, yes. My screen is flipped, no? Baliktad yung Elite Intellect. Sorry, guys. I just made it. Okay, I will welcome to my new office. Charing. Okay, so let me just share the live of IFNG on the Facebook page of Elite Intellect 9. But before that, how's everybody doing? Sorry, I just came, as I was telling Mom Gladys, Mr. M, and Mom Zaya earlier, I just came from the preliminary interview of Miss Universe Philippines. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing eyeshadow today. And my advocacy is to be an advocate. Charing. Okay, so tonight, guys, we're going to be discussing about the reading techniques, okay? Which is pretty important for the OET. But if you are taking the IELTS, guys, you would be benefited by this reading technique too, because the techniques that I teach my student when it comes to reading, really, on the OET is very effective when it comes to the IELTS examination as well. So go and invite your friends, share this live video from IFNG, share it to your friends because who knows, right? They might need your help when it comes to the reading examination. All right, ano ba to? Nagpo-post pala ako. Okay, so let me just say hello to our students who are watching right now. How's everybody doing? I love interactive students during the live session because I love talking to you, you know. I love teaching you a lot of things, yung mga ganyan. Tapos kung mag-update po kayo ng iPhone, wag na po kayo mag-update, nag-hang siya. Okay. So, yes. Hello to my inaanak Riley, my love. Hello. Say pulchritudinous. Hala, tinuruan yung bata. Ano ba yan? Bakit walang energy? Wala nga eh. Mababa energy ko today, guys. My energy is below sea level. Oh. If I don't have energy, I might be sick. Okay, so let me just share to you my screen as regards our discussion for tonight. Okay, so welcome to another fun OET discussion. But tonight we're going to be focusing on the reading techniques. And mind you guys, these reading techniques that I will teach you, you can also apply them on your IELTS reading examinations because once I taught my OET students these techniques that I will be teaching you tonight, the IELTS students were benefited as well. They said that the reading of the IELTS became easier once they applied the reading techniques that I taught them, okay, for the OET. And of course, you may also apply this for your IELTS examination. Okay. Hello, my very good mother, Riley. Hello, Rafa, anak ko. Oh, Rafa, ang galing-galing. Alam mo, buti pa si Rafa nakuha niya yung concept ng happiness, no? I was watching the video of Rafa. I think that was last April. It was uploaded last April. Mr. M uploaded it. Rafa is really good. Guys, no? May tagapagmana na tayo ng IELTS Empire, si Rafa. Okay, so tonight, we will elicit reading techniques useful for the OET and for the IELTS as well. Okay, and these reading techniques are known to be lifesavers on any reading examination. I always tell my students that these techniques will help you significantly, whether you're going to be applying it for your OET, whether you will apply it for the IELTS examination. These techniques can actually save your life. They could be your life buoy. Sir, what's life buoy? A life buoy is salbabida, no? The problem that students face on the examination is that sometimes you guys are drowning with information, right? Who here can relate when I tell you that once you open your reading, whether that's on the OET or on the IELTS, you drown with information? Who here? There you go, Riza, raise her hand, right? Yeah. A lot of students, when they open the reading examination, will be like, what? There are shed loads of information and I cannot simplify it. The good news about the things that I will be teaching you tonight is you will learn that you don't even have to exert as much effort. Believe me, on the 100% effort, you only need 30%. So who wouldn't want to learn that, right? 30% of effort for the reading, whether that's the OET or the IELTS, guys. Okay? So if you're watching this and you're about to take your OET and your IELTS examination, share this to your friends right now because it could be life-saving. I have seen a lot of my students whom their lives changed significantly when they have learned the simplification techniques that I will be teaching tonight, applicable for OET and the IELTS. Okay, so slow, right? I can totally relate. I can totally relate. Did you know that one fun fact about Mama D is that I have an eye condition? Okay, I have an eye condition. I don't read normally the way that you do. Okay, I don't read normally the way that you do. I have dyslexia. Okay, so dyslexia means I don't see letters the way that you see them. Letters for me, they have souls, spirits, twin sisters, right? So if that's just one F right there, I see 2 to 3 Fs, lighter shade. Okay, so the reading for me has been a challenge all along when I was preparing for the IELTS or the OET. But then again, I have learned how to adjust myself towards the expectation of the exam. So that's the thing that I will be teaching you tonight. Okay, so if it's your first time to be here, I am pleased to meet you. My name is Clint Joseph Tyler, the founder and master lecturer of Elite Intellect IELTS OET NCLEX and NMC CBT Specialist PH. I am an IELTS expert for the past 11 years and I am an OET master for 6 years. Okay, so I am a PHRN and a USRN, also known as your Mama Dragon, Mother Dragon, Mama D, Mother D, Mommy D, walay hassle. Uy, Diyos ko, ano ba yan? Ano naman ba? What's my energy brought to you by tonight? Energy brought to you by Monster Energy Drink and Hot Dog with katas ng Fairy Essentials. Okay, so, all right, half Filipino, half pandiregla. Wala na akong maiisip. You know, this is really, I always tell you this. This is one of my challenges every time that I prepare a live discussion every Friday is that I cannot think of half anymore. I started with Phil-Am, right? Half Filipino, half amazing, half Filipino, half Filipina, half Filipino, half aswang, half Filipino, half babaylan, half Filipino, half monay, half Filipino, half siopaw. And now I'm half Filipino, half pandiregla. Last week I am half Filipino, half marites. What's wag pandiregla ba magon, girl? Yung ano, that's the what they call that. That's the yellow bread with the red keme. Yeah. Ah, I love that. And the ubi bread when I was younger. Yes, Mom Glads. Ubi bread and what they call this pandiregla. Because growing up, my parents would give me just enough allowance to suffice all throughout the day. So what I would do is if I'm really, really hungry, I would go out of our school and then I will try to find the store there and then I will buy panderegla. During my time, it's 5 pesos. Yeah, 5 pesos. I don't know now how much panderegla is. Panderegla with 8 ounce na Coke. Di pa natin afford yung 12 ounce nun. Who am I kidding? Anong Coke? Wala pala akong pang Coke noon. Pop at saka RC. Diba? During that time. Okay, guys. So, all right. A message of hope first, okay? But God commends his love towards us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. This is one positive affirming message that you should always tell yourself, guys, is that whatever experience you are undergoing, you have to remember that the Lord already has died for the things that you have committed in the past, present, and future. Okay? He has created you. He has molded you. He has planned every single detail of your life. Okay? So you are beautiful. You are God's creation. You are worthy and you are successful. That's one thing that I always tell my students every time that they are feeling down is that you are God's creation. You are beautiful. You are successful. You are kind. You are loved. You will reach your goals as long as you're with the Lord. Okay. So what a wonderful way for us to open. Anong nangyari sa pop? Bakit nawala? Oo nga, ano? Oo, no? Pop Cola. Pop Cola suddenly was gone. And Zesto Cola. Yeah, did you remember Zesto Cola? The red one. Oh my gosh, Sir Joseph, now I know your age. Zesto Cola and Puff Cola. Oh my gosh, ano ba? Hindi ko kaya naabutan yung Zesto Cola at saka Pop Cola. Ang naabutan ko lang, Chucky. No? Okay, guys. So good evening, Geneva, everyone who are watching. Thank you for tagging your friends on our live discussion for tonight. Okay, guys. So let's now proceed to the important techniques that you may apply. Von Welt. Ano yun? Mo. Ay, naabutan ko yung mo. Yung find mo. Who can relate? You played this when you were younger. Find mo. Like you look at the back of the carton of the moo drink, and then you would need to find moo there in the crowd. It's like finding a missing coin, right? And then when you find it, you pass the carton to your classmates, diba? Okay. All right, guys. So let us now proceed to elite notes for the reading techniques. Okay, so let me just share to you my screen for the elite notes for tonight. I'm so excited because there will be an actual reading here, guys. Really, we're going to be applying the techniques that we will be learning tonight when it comes to simplifying the details. Okay, so as what we do at Elite Intellect 9, Elite Notes is a discussion platform that we apply, which is real-time discussion with notes, so that after the discussion, the students will have this. And of course, I will be sending it to the admins of IFNG afterwards. Okay, so let's start with important techniques for reading. Whether you're taking the OET or the IELTS, one thing that I would want you to remember are these reading techniques that can save your life. Okay, number one technique. Okay, let's proceed to the first reading technique, which is understand 20%, oh, sorry, not 20, but 30% of the reading only. Okay, so if you are a student, okay, if you are a student who loves to read everything on the examination, my love, I am so sorry to tell you, but you are doing it wrong. Okay, again, if you are a student who loves reading everything on the examination, really, like you read from top to bottom, like it's leisure reading, then you are doing it wrong. Okay, because guys, when the challenge of the OET and the IELTS reading examination is to look if the students can understand information in an effective time manner. Okay, so what should you be doing here? Instead of reading everything, replace it with scanning important information only. Okay, so Sir Joseph, what are these important details that we would need to scan? Okay, what are these important details that we would need to scan on the IELTS? Number one, or IELTS or OET exam. Number one, guys, you would need to scan for the highlights of the passages. Okay. You would need to scan for the highlights of the passages, because if you are reading everything without being selective, you're going to be wasting your time. Believe me, this is a common mistake of the students that I teach on the OET and on the IELTS. They say, oh my gosh, the IELTS and the OET reading is quite difficult because there are a lot of details that I would need to follow through. There are a lot of details that I would need to read. But what I always tell them is you don't have to read everything, because you're just going to be looking at the important details, which are the highlight of the passages. This is accurate also for both the IELTS and the OET, which is, guys, the boring parts contain the answers. Okay, some students, they tend to have a habit of leaving boring parts unread, right? Like, let's say you're taking the OET and then you saw dosages, something, something, and then it's really boring to you. So you're going to leave it be, okay? Or if you're taking the IELTS and then you saw application of the study, background of the study about monkeys, right? And then you left that passage right there, Believe me, it contains the answer. So what I always tell my students is to leave no stone unturned. Okay. So, Sir Joseph, what do you mean by leave no stone unturned? I want you to flip every stone there is on your examination, because if you leave the important passages, then of course you're not going to be seeing the answers. That's why I always tell you, scan through everything. Not read everything, but scan through everything. Okay, that is the number one most effective technique that I teach my students when it comes to the reading. Whether you're taking the OET, whether you're taking the IELTS, the technique is technically the same. Okay? Alrighty. Wait lang, mukhang may question tayo. Ouch, ha, sabi ni Ma'am Gladys. Do you like reading everything? Ako before, I love reading everything. Like when I take my exam, I feel like, oh, I need to read all of it. And then when I mastered this technique right here, the things that I will be teaching tonight, that's the time that I started realizing, oh, okay, I don't have to understand everything. Okay, now, it all starts with one thing. Okay, what is that? Okay, you would need to dissect the questions. Okay, Sir Joseph, what do you mean by dissecting the questions? Okay, you would need to dissect the questions. You would need to look for important details on the questions. What are the important details on the questions? Okay, number one, you need to look for nouns. You need to look for verbs. You need to look for adjectives. And you also would need to look for adverbs. Usually, when there is a question, guys, these are pretty much important. Okay? When you saw a question, you need to always look immediately for the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives, or the adverbs, because they will point you towards where you should look at. Okay? Dissect the questions well. Okay. Now, but a friendly reminder from the Department of Public Works and Highways, guys, no? Dissecting the question does not mean encircling everything, okay? Do not encircle too much. Okay, do not encircle too much. The reading examination is already visually unappealing. Okay, when we say it's visually unappealing, once you see it, oh my gosh, right? It's aneurysm waiting to happen, right? When you see, oh, there are like what? 1,200 times 3, that's 3,600 words that you would need to read, excluding the questions. So what should you be doing? If you are encircling too much on the examination, then it will be difficult for you to find the details and to remember them, okay? So more of this later on. Now, let's take a look at this sample question. Okay, let's take a look at the sample question right here, guys. Dr. Roberts ordered blank for the study. Okay, which one do you think would be the most effective keywords here? Okay, which one are the keywords here? Come on, guys, type in your answers right there. Okay, so if you're thinking it's the study that would be the keyword, I'm sorry, but that's not the keyword right there, okay? Study, guys, is not the keyword for this one. Okay, sir, why? Why is study not the keyword? Because this keyword right here would be repetitive, would be repetitive on the exam. You're going to be seeing the word study more than 20 times onto the entire passage. So if you read that, and you deem that as the keyword, you're not going to be remembering it. And you might be confused because once you look at this, oh my gosh, I think there are keywords here. I saw the word study on paragraph 2, and then I saw it on paragraph 3. I saw it on paragraph 4. I saw it in paragraph 5. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. So who is our first keyword here? Of course, I will be encircling Dr. Roberts. Okay, Dr. Roberts will be our keyword there. And of course, ordered. There you go. And then I'm going to leave for the study B. Okay, this is for me to remember all the important details on the question. Okay, now, whether you're taking the OET or the IELTS, guys, one thing that I would want you to remember is the reading is a squid game. Charing, ano squid game? The reading is a match making game. Okay, when we say matchmaking game, basically you would need to match the information that you are seeing on the question in the passages. Okay, again, you would need to match the questions that you are seeing on, you would need to match the keywords on the question in the passages. So it's a matchmaking game. So what are the direct matches of the things that you would need to remember? Of course, you would need to match synonyms. Okay, let's say you saw the word dangerous. So what are the direct matches of the word dangerous on the passage? You might saw the word deleterious. Now ask yourself, Sir Joseph, is this one a direct match of the other? It might be, right? So the first thing that I would want you to look at when you are encircling keywords is for you to look and find the synonyms. Okay, there you go. Look and find the synonyms. It will always be effective. It will always teach you and point towards the direction of the answer when you are finding the synonyms. Now, what else, guys? I teach my students this approach. We call it the top-down approach. Ooh, Sir Joseph, that looks so cool. It sounds so cool. What is top-down approach? Okay, I'll teach you guys the top-down approach. Every time that my students do this, they really do master the art of reading. Okay, all right. Oh, hold on. Let me just optimize the screen. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, please type it. Okay, if you have any questions, please type it so that Mama will be able to answer it for you. Okay. Okay, that's good, girl. Ano kaya kung gano'n ako magsalita? Ano? Hey, girl, sup? Okay, so what should we be doing for the top-down approach? Okay, when you are just starting to read. Okay, let's say, I have not mastered the reading yet, and I'm about to take the OET or the IELTS for that matter. Okay, so what should I be doing for your first 6 reading practices? Okay, for your first 6 reading practices, do not time yourself. Ooh. So, Sir Joseph, if you have an ample amount of time to prepare, why not? Right? The top-down approach, really, guys, the main purpose of this one is for you to understand why we came up with that question, why we came up with that answer, rather, and how were you able to find it. So how will you understand that if you are always rushing on the exam? Right? How will you be able to understand that if you are always rushing on the exam? That's why I don't want my students to time themselves first for the first 6 reading practices. Okay? So spend an ample amount of time understanding why you came up with the answers, no? Okay, so if you guys do not know, here at Elite Intellect, we also have reading coaching. So what we do with reading coaching is if the student finished the reading there, we ask them to explain why. How did you come up with that answer right there? And if the student cannot explain it, it means that they were not able to really understand how they amassed that particular answer. You need to know how you found it, where you got it from, right? And what are the markers that pointed the answer to you? Okay, again, you need to answer where you found it. Okay, you would also need to answer how you came up with the answer. What's your own rationale? How you came up with the answer. And apart from that, what pointed you towards the direction of the answer. Okay. So if you do not know where you found that answer, then that's what we call in Filipino, chamba. Okay? In English, we call it pure luck, right? But if you do systematically understand where you might have found that answer, why you came up with that answer, what are the words that pointed you towards that answer, what is the keyword that directed you towards that answer, then my dear, you are doing it properly. That is the top-down approach. Is for the 6 first reading practices that you're about to do. Do not, I repeat, do not time yourself. Okay? Do not time yourself just yet. Okay? Because if you are pressuring yourself with time, then you will not understand how you got this answer, what are the things that would be important for you to know where the answer is. Yung mga ganyan, guys. Small details matter on the reading test. Okay? So that's one thing. Okay? That's just the first technique that I will teach you tonight. Okay, this is the top-down approach. Later on, we're going to be applying all of these, okay? All right. Now, if you're taking the IELTS, you may apply this for your IELTS exam. Believe me. Okay, now, what is another thing, Sir Joseph, that you could give me as a tip for the reading? Here. This is a common mistake, actually, of the students when they are doing their reading examinations, okay? This one. Do not read more than 3 questions at a time. Okay? Some students, they have this habit of reading like 7 questions, 10 questions, right? When you are doing your encircling and underlining your keywords, right? You tend to read everything. Like you read 10 questions at a time. Guys, it's humanly impossible to remember more than that. Okay? It is humanly impossible. It's humanly impossible, guys, to remember more than that. When you are reading questions, okay, what I would want you to do is to spend your time, but not too much time. Baka naman 4 hours ka na sa isang question tapos na yung buong exam. No? What you should be doing here is for you to remember the details of the 3 questions that you're about to read. Okay, that's basically it. Don't exceed more than 3 questions. Chunk it. Okay, chunk it so that you can actually find the details properly once you are looking inside the passages. No, you're remembering details instead of pretending to encircle everything like 10 items. Yes, woo! I will encircle everything, and then once you read the passage, cannot remember much, right? You cannot remember what is the thing that you have encircled anymore. So just read, no, do not read more than 3 questions, okay? Another important thing is for you to predict the answers. This is particularly applicable for items which are gap fill, okay? For the OET and the IELTS exam, gap fill is present always, right? When you are doing your reading. Okay, so what should you be doing? You would need to predict the answers. But sir, how do I predict it? Hulaan ko kung ano yung po pwede. There is a systematic prediction that we would like to call on the English world, okay? Use the systematic prediction. Okay. Sir Joseph, what is systematic prediction? Okay. What is systematic prediction, Sir Joseph? Here it is. Okay. Systematic prediction is you're going to try to figure out what will fit in the gap. Okay. You would need to try to figure out what will fit in the gap. Okay. So you try to predict whether what will be fitting would be a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. Very effective po ito, no? Okay, so let's say here's the question. Okay, so let's say that this is the question, okay? You would need to predict whether what would be fitting for this one is a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. Okay, so what do you think would be fitting for number 1? The scientists, beautiful, the study, adjective. The scientists, strong, the study, adjective. The scientists ate the study, pwedeng verb yan, diba? Okay, so here guys, it might be a verb that the question would be looking for. Okay, what about the next one? Omeprazole helps with the blank. Okay, so maybe we're looking for a body part right here. Okay, so what is a body part? It's a noun, right? When you predict it that way, guys, when you encounter them on the passage itself, it would be pretty helpful for you. Believe me. Okay? Once you do that. Okay? Now, let's go to the most important tip. Okay? What is it? This is our flow. Okay? Basically, I always tell my students to follow the flow of reading. Okay, Sir Joseph, what is the flow of reading? Okay. Who among you here, okay, I want to see, who among you here has been trained to look at the questions first? Come on, raise your hand, say I do. Who among you here has been trained to read the questions first? Wala. Wala. Guys, who among you here has been trained to read the questions first? Okay, let's see. Oh, hold on, guys. Let me just rebump my sharing. Rebump. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people have been trained to read the questions first. Guys, unfortunately, I am so sorry. Okay, when you are reading your questions first, where are you going to look at? Right? Again, when you are reading your questions first, where are you going to look at? That would be difficult, right? To blindly read the question and then you don't even know where to look at in the passages. So here's the flow that I always tell my students to do. Okay. Number one, guys, is let's go to step one. Okay. So first thing that you have to do, guys, is to familiarize yourself with the theme or the contents of each of the passages. Okay, per paragraph. Okay, you're going to do this per paragraph before you even read the question. Okay, so how do I do that, Sir Joseph? You're going to read the first sentence and you're going to read the last sentence of each paragraph first. Quickly, okay? Quickly, guys, you're going to be reading the first sentence and the last sentence of each paragraph first so as to ensure that you are familiar with the contents of the theme, okay? You may also write the theme. You may also write the theme of the paragraph. So let's say you're taking the OET. For the OET, there are 4 paragraphs for part A. So you're going to be reading those 4 paragraphs individually, first and last sentence. Let's say you're taking the IELTS. There are 8 paragraphs on the IELTS, but 8 short paragraphs, really. Let's say you're taking the IELTS and then there are 8 short paragraphs, okay? So you're going to read the first and the last sentence of each of the paragraphs, okay? To familiarize yourself with the theme of the passage first. Sir, anong point nito? Kasi kapag binasa mo muna, if you read the question first, you don't know where to look at, right? You don't know where to look at. It will be like, where might I find this? But when you are familiarizing yourself with the theme, it will automatically click, right? Once you read the question, oh, I think I read it on paragraph A earlier. Paragraph A is about drug study. Now you know where to look at. You're not wasting your time rather than blindly seeking for the questions, for the answers themselves. Later on, we're going to apply this, okay? Later on, we're going to apply this. It will surprise you. Okay, after familiarizing yourself with the theme of the passages, the next thing that I would want you to do is this is the only time that you're going to read the questions. So step 1 is to familiarize yourself with the theme of the passages first. After that, the next thing that you have to do is to read the questions. Okay, so Sir Joseph, when we read the questions, are we going to encircle and underline our keywords here? Yes, your main task here is to find the keywords. So you better be finding the keywords here on this part. Okay, you better be finding the keywords here on this part for step 2. Okay, now I'm already done encircling, Sir Joseph. What's the next thing that I need to do now? After encircling your keywords, the next thing that you have to do now is to find the synonym of the keyword in the passages. Usually, guys, this would be the easiest part for you if you familiarize yourself correctly with the contents of the paragraphs. Okay, so find the synonym of the keyword in the passages. Okay, now, what if, Sir Joseph, I found a keyword? Okay, found the keyword. What I would want you to do now is to stop. Okay, the answer is within the same sentence. If you have found a keyword, guys, you would need to stop reading, okay? Because the answer is within the same sentence, okay? If you found a keyword, oh, the keyword is here. Stop. The answer is within the same sentence. Don't go far, okay? Don't go far away from that one, okay? And then, guys, after you found the answer, I want you to write down the answers immediately. Okay. I always tell my students this: do not save it for later. Okay? Do not save it for later. Some students can say once you look at the question, okay, and then you found the answer, you're going to keep on reading to try to attempt to find the answers to the next items. And then once you found the answer to the next item, you went on reading again, and then you cannot find the answer anymore. Right? You'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot where I found it. Not unless if you have drawn something that is quite, what do you call that? That is quite salacious in nature there. Di ba? Kung meron kang drawing dun na, isang bagay na talagang matatandaan mo. But then again, do not save it for later. What I would want you to do is if you found an answer, write it down immediately. Okay, write it down immediately, girl. Okay, yeah, better. Don't save it for later, because when you save it for later, you're going to forget where you might have found it. Okay, so this is a life-saving flow. Again, familiarize yourself with the theme of the and the contents of the passages. You need to read the first sentence, read the last sentence, okay, of each paragraph, read the questions, find the synonym of the keyword in the passages, and if you found a keyword, you better stop. The answer is within the same sentence, and write down the answer immediately. Okay? Do not read the questions first, because when you're reading the questions first, it would be difficult for you to try to find where the answer is. Okay? So this is the flow of reading. Now, there are two types of reading. Okay? Sir Joseph, what is the difference? Okay, number one, guys, I'll show you the first type of reading, which is what we call the academic reading. Okay, sir, what is an academic reading? This is your IELTS reading. The academic reading, guys, is the IELTS reading with which you would need to look for, hunt words and synonyms. And also, you would need to analyze what is important and what is not. Okay, look at that. The next one is what we call the technical reading. Juicy. Sir Joseph, what is technical reading? Technical reading, guys, is the reading of the OET. Here, guys, you don't need to find the synonyms, but rather you would need to find terms or exact terms. And of course, you would need to identify details which can help you. Mali yung grammar ko. That can help you. Okay, so look at that, right? These are the differences. When you are taking the IELTS reading, it is an academic reading. Okay, that is an academic reading. So you would need to hunt the words and synonyms for the IELTS and analyze what is important and what is not. Whereas here for the OET, guys, it is technical reading. Basically, you're going to read a technical material about how a disease works or what are the things that you would need to know about the disease, right? And then you would need to find terms or exact terms that could be useful for the answer and identify details that can help you. That is the difference between the two. Okay? But the good news is whether you're taking the IELTS or the OET reading, the technique is technically, totally, utterly, practically the same. Okay? So again, don't forget to follow the flow. Now, before we go to more techniques and the application itself, let me just take this time, okay, to congratulate my students, okay? So before we move on to the more important techniques, let us just congratulate our IELTS passers for this week, guys, okay? So Amara Burgos, 8.5 in speaking. Claire Faith Delphin, 8.5 in speaking. Dexter, 8.0. Brian Mercado, 7.5 in speaking. Shalom Malinaw, 7.5 in speaking. And Flor Bumanlag, 7.0 in speaking. So congratulations, my children. And of course, congratulations to our new USRNs here at Elite Intellect. 12 out of 12, 100% passing rate for batch 20 cluster 2. So congratulations, guys, to Leon, Mary Rose, Georgine, Roldan, Herson, Terry, Annette, Mercy, Gemily, Mary Claire, Lorna, and Pedro Luis Gaetano. All of them were able to pass their NCLEX exam. This is my batch 20 cluster 2. 12 of them, I remember, 12 of them enrolled, 12 of them passed their examination. So congratulations, guys. Okay. Now, of course, guys, Elite IELTS Focus is now accepting enrollees. So if you do not know what Elite Focus is, be a part of our most in-demand review program, which is Elite Focus. So balance your work and review internationally or locally, wherever you are all over the world. Focus on your IELTS weaknesses and turn them into your new strengths. Okay, so it is unlimited IELTS review, lifetime validity, unlimited one-on-one coaching in speaking and writing, one-on-one coaching with grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, live and recorded discussions, flexible schedule, 24/7 coach approach, and coach support, and of course, online and computer-delivered IELTS mock tests for everyone. So for the exclusive IFNG discount, instead of paying 6,500, pay only 4,999. Now, Sir Joseph, how can I avail this Elite Focus promo? Guys, Elite Focus is one of our most effective review programs, really, because here we focus on the weaknesses of the students, no? Kapag ka mahina ka halimbawa sa grammar, i-coach ka namin tungkol dyan. Mahina ka sa vocabulary, i-coach ka namin tungkol dyan. So, you may send a message to our Facebook page, which will be sent on our chat boxes right there, here at Zoom, and of course, on Facebook. Alrighty. So, what else, guys? Unlimited review, IELTS review is 4,999 instead of 6,500. OET plus IELTS review, 6,500 instead of 13,000 pesos. And of course, guys, NMC CBT plus free OET review is 7,999 instead of paying 18,000. And NCLEX plus free IELTS review is 7,999. That's a good promo. Okay, and of course, happy to say that all elite students now enjoy Mama D's Study Hall. Okay, so let me just announce Mama D's Study Hall. Okay, Sir Joseph, what is Mama D's Study Hall? Mama D Study Hall, guys, this is where the students spend their time with me, like this one. It is a private session for elite students, with which this is a place where they can have quality time with Mama. On the study hall sessions, what they do is they can ask their questions with their confusions, and I answer it for them. So it is a place where students can learn more and develop more on the IELTS preparation. So be an elite student today. Elite Study Hall is open every Tuesdays, 9 p.m. and Wednesdays, 10:30 p.m. PhD for the elite students. So if you would want to be an elite student, this will already be included on your promos. Okay, so again, guys, Elite Focus is open for enrollees for the IELTS, and also we're accepting students for the OET. You may inquire at our Facebook page right there. Just click the link on our chat box right there for Zoom, and of course, click the link at our what do you call this, at our comment section there for our Facebook Live. So I'll see you guys. You know, I'm excited with Mama D Study Hall. Ano daw po yan? Mama D, please pakibalik po Elite Focus. Okay, sure, anak. Here you go. So Elite Focus, guys, is here, okay? So what we do at Elite Focus, Elite Focus, when you are having a hard time when it comes to your grammar, vocabulary, writing, listening, reading, speaking, any type on the IELTS, we do focus on that. And that includes our live and recorded discussions too for our students. Okay, so that's a good discount for you guys. Okay, and of course, here are the other promos. Okay, for the IELTS Unlimited review and for the OET plus IELTS review. Okay, NMC CBT plus OET review and CLEX plus free IELTS review. There you go. So send a message to Ma'am Tanya right now for you guys to avail of our promos. Thank you very much. Okay. So let's go back to our discussion. Alrighty, so let's take a look, guys, at this sample reading. It's a technical reading, really. It's a technical reading. So if you're taking the IELTS and you're taking the OET, let's try to apply it here on this reading. Can you see it, guys? Can you see the Can you see the reading material right there? Okay, hold on. Let me just fix my share. Okay, so what I taught you earlier, guys, is instead of trying to read the question first, okay, I want you to read the parts of the passages, okay? So let's read the first sentence, okay? First sentence first. Okay, if you're taking the IELTS, pretend that this is an IELTS material, okay? So tetanus is a severe disease that can result in serious illness and death. Okay, so it's talking about what tetanus is. Last sentence. Complications include pneumonia, broken bones from the muscle, spasms. Oh, that's not yet the last sentence, sorry. Okay, so what's the last sentence here? Okay, last sentence is, the spatula test is useful. Touching the back of the pharynx with a spatula elicits a bite reflex in tetanus instead of a gag reflex. Okay, juicy. So this passage maybe is talking about, okay, this passage may be talking about tetanus, okay, or details about tetanus. Okay, tests. And I think I might have saw it earlier, signs and symptoms. Okay, so what's the next one? Let's go to text B. This is about tetanus risks, okay? Tetanus is an acute disease induced by a toxin, tetanus bacilli, the spores of which are present in soil, okay? And then they should be managed as they were incompletely immunized. Okay, so this is talking about risks and management. Okay, so this is talking about risks and management of tetanus. Okay, so what's the next one? Ooh, love it. Nutrition facts. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay. So, thorough cleaning of the wound is essential, irrespective of immunization history. Patient and appropriate antibiotics should be prescribed. Okay, so this is the vaccine. It's talking about vaccine and wound care. Last one, immunosuppressed patients presenting with tetanus prone wounds should always be managed as if they were incompletely immunized. Okay, so this one right here, guys, is talking about wound care. Okay, what else? It's talking about immunization. And it's talking about warnings, really, precautions. Okay. So, sir, what are you doing there? I'm trying to remember what was the content so that later on when I'm reading the questions, it would be easy for me to remember which passage to look at. Okay. Now, next one. All right. Human tetanus immunoglobulin or HTIG. Human tetanus immunoglobulin or HTID indications. Okay. Basically, this is just talking about HTIG. Okay, so we're done familiarizing ourselves with the contents of the questions now. Yeah? Okay, now it's our turn to look at the questions. That's the only time that you're going to look at the questions. Okay, so for this one, we are going to be matching the information, okay, on whether we saw it. My gosh, it's like matching headings, really. If we saw it on text A, B, C, or D. Okay, again, for this one, we're going to be matching the information if you saw the question on text A, B, C, or D. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. The type of injuries that may lead to tetanus. Okay, we're looking at type of injuries. Did you remember earlier when we were reading risk factors for tetanus? Right? Okay, let's go back. Okay, so text D is HTIG. This one is about wound care, immunization, and precautions. Whereas this one is risks and management. Look at that. Risks and management. So, is it safe to say that my answer for that question right there that is looking for the types of injuries that lead to tetanus can be found on text B? Yes. Right? Nakita nyo na? It's easier, right? Okay, what else? Signs that patients may have tetanus. Okay, we're looking for signs. Okay, signs and symptoms. Did you remember earlier which passage did we see signs and symptoms for tetanus? Going back. Details, tests, signs, and symptoms. Right there, look at that. So is it safe to say that my answer for number 2 is text A? It is, right? Because this is signs and symptoms. So your answer for this one is text A. Now, the next one. How to decide whether a tetanus vaccine is necessary. How to decide whether a tetanus vaccine is necessary. Okay, so we're looking at how to decide. Okay, necessary. This will be our, what do you call this? Keywords. Okay. Did you remember earlier that we were highlighting details or we were reading about vaccine and immunization and precautions, right? Okay. Where might I have seen that one? Okay. Wound care, immunization, and precautions. Oh, sir, I'm not sure. But where can I see if the tetanus is required or vaccine is required? Oh, look at that. Not required, not required. Reinforcing doses, immediate dose. That's the question itself. Okay, so the answer for this one would be text C. Okay, so next one. Possible side effects of particular tetanus medication. Possible side effects of particular tetanus medication. Okay. Sir Joseph. Oh, here's the answer. Sorry. I think I wrote it on the wrong number. Okay. Next number, an alternative name for tetanus. An alternative name for tetanus. We're looking for the alternative name. Sir Joseph, I think the information about tetanus can be seen on paragraph A. Okay, let's see. Tetanus is a severe disease that can result in serious illness. Tetanus vaccination protects against something. Tetanus is sometimes called lockjaw. Lockjaw, sometimes called lockjaw. Okay, is that the alternative name for tetanus? Sometimes it's called lockjaw. There we go. So our answer for this one would be text A for number 4. Imagine niyo kung IELTS ka, tapos matching headings yan. Diba? It's easy. Okay. Possible side effects of particular tetanus medication. We're looking at possible side effects. Ano ba ang tetanus medication na binigay dito kanina? Eh, yung HTIG lang naman. Diba? It's just the HTIG. So let's go back to HTIG. Adverse reactions. Side effects. Okay? So local we have pain, erythema, induration, okay, artist type reaction. For general, pyrexia, hypotonic, hyper-responsive episode, and persistent crying. Okay, so side effects, adverse reaction. Are they the same? Synonyms? Yep, they are. So your answer for this one would be text D. Okay, next one. Other conditions which are associated with tetanus. Other conditions which are associated with tetanus. We're looking for conditions that are associated with tetanus. I'm not sure, Sir Joseph, if that is paragraph B earlier or paragraph A. But let's look. A person may have fever, sometimes develop abnormal heart complications include pneumonia, broken bones from muscle spasms, respiratory failure. Look at this, guys. These are the other conditions that are associated with tetanus. Really? Fever, abnormal heart rhythms, pneumonia, broken bones, muscle spasms, right? Yeah, these are the conditions that are related to tetanus right there. So our answer for this one would be paragraph A. Now, Mama is done doing her turn. Now, I want my students to look at the following questions right here. Okay, let's take a look at the following questions right here. Look, study questions number 7. Study questions number 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, I'm going to give you some time to do that. I'm just going to drink water. Ma'am Zaya, while they're studying the questions, any tips for them when it comes to reading?
Hi, sir. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm back again. So the best thing that I can tell you guys, especially if you're practicing your reading exam in the OET and also in the IELTS, it is important for you to actually check and know where the parts you got it wrong. Okay, do not just be glad that you have a lot of correct answers right there. The main point that you should try to keep an eye on are your mistakes, especially in the OET here, because sometimes in parts B and C, it can be a bit tricky, especially in the reading part. There's just a matter of one word there that might change the meaning of the selections even. So you have to make sure that you will find out, or that you have found out why you got it wrong first and foremost. Okay, do not just settle for your scores or your high scores. Also try to find the rationale behind it, and also use the elimination technique. So it pays to actually know which ones to eliminate, because it's easier, first and foremost, to choose between two things than three, right? And way back then, I also used to read journals. Okay, so you have to be updated of the latest trends in your field as much as possible, and use your intuition as a nurse or a healthcare team member when answering these questions, first and foremost, because there is just a rare chance that you do not know these things, especially in parts B and C, because these are of interest to your field. And lastly, uh, the jargons there are rarely hard to understand, actually, and you just need to skim and scan most of the time, really, because if you read everything, you'll be exhausted, really exhausted all throughout, especially in part one, wherein you're only given about 20 minutes. So that's not enough to read everything word for word. So you have to skim and scan, and also try your best to spell things right, actually, because as opposed to your listening, your reading is quite strict with this one. Okay, if you spelled it wrong, that's automatically incorrect. I think, sorry, my voice is quite shaky. So I'll give back the floor now to our mother dragon.
Thank you so much, Zaya. Okay, so have we studied the questions? Well, Mom Zaya is giving her tips right there. Yeah, life-saving tips, guys. Really. Don't waste your time on details. Okay, I want you to look carefully at the question, and of course, I want you to look into your keywords so as to ensure that you're finding it. Okay, so let's take a look. Patients increase risk of tetanus. Okay, if a patient has been touching blank or earth, they are more susceptible to tetanus. Risk factors, right? We're looking at touching something or earth, and then which makes them more susceptible to tetanus. Okay, I think I might have seen this on the risk factors earlier. Let's check. This one is HTIG. This one is wound care immunization. Okay, next one is risk. And let's take a look at this one. Tetanus vaccination protects against something, something. Clostridium tetrotoxins, maybe bacteria attack person nervous. Something causes fever, complications, pneumonia, respiratory failure, spatula test. Tetanus risk. Tetanus is an acute disease induced something, a tetanus prone wound, any wound or burn that requires something, any wound or burn that is interval something, significant degree of tissue damage, puncture type wound, where there has been contact with soil or organic matter. Look at this one. Soil or organic matter. What's the answer then? Our answer for this one would be organic matter. Okay, good job, guys. Okay, so let's take a look. The soil here is the ore or earth and soil. Okay, so our answer for this one would be organic matter. Oh my gosh, Sir Joseph. Bakit ganun? Pag kasama ka namin gumagawa madali, pag ako na mahirap, no. You just need practice, believe me. Okay, what's the next one? Any blank lodged in the site of an injury will increase the likelihood of tetanus. Okay? So lodged in the site, what is lodged there? What is something that is lodged on that site right there that will increase the likelihood of tetanus? Let's take a look at the risk. Okay? Any wound from compound for any wound containing foreign bodies, any wound or burn Any wound from tooth reimplantation, intravenous. Well, I would bet my dollar that the answer here would be foreign bodies. Bakit? Ano ba ang nalalodge sa skin ng tao? Di ba? Foreign bodies lang, right? So, the answer for that one would be foreign bodies. Any foreign body lodged in the site of an injury will increase the likelihood for tetanus. Okay, next one, guys. Patients with blank fractures are prone to tetanus. We're looking at a type of fracture here. Okay, we're looking at a type of fracture that makes patients prone to tetanus. Fractures, I think I saw it earlier at the risk again. Go back to risks. Risk, risk, risk. Oh, here. What type of fracture is that? Look at that. What type of fracture is that? Compound fracture, right? Guys, it's actually really easy to find the answers if you know where you're looking at. The worst thing that you could do is to not know where to look at. That's why it's pretty much important, or I always advise my students to read and familiarize yourself with the theme first so that when you see the questions, it would be easy for you to find it. Okay. Number 10, delaying surgery or an injury or burn by more than blank increases the probability of tetanus. Okay, so we're looking at delaying surgery, injury, or burn by more than blank. Okay, we're looking at the delay. Okay, we're looking at the delay of surgery or injury or burn. Okay, so let's take a look. Maybe we're looking for a figure here. Okay, so maybe that's a risk. Oop, 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 oop. I saw something here. Again, look at that. I saw something. Okay. Any wound or burn that requires surgical intervention that is delayed, okay, for more than 6 hours. Okay? So, let's go back to the answer. Sir Joseph, I don't need to write down the symbol more than anymore. No, you don't, because look at this one. The word more than is already here. So you don't have to write it down. Okay? So did you now get the point, guys? Why you need to read the questions first? Or sorry, why you need to familiarize yourself with the themes first before reading the question is that it's easy for you to locate the answers when you are doing that. I want you to do that. Okay? When you are doing your IELTS reading or you're doing your OET reading, you read or familiarize yourself with the theme of the passages first before you read the question, because they will help point you towards the direction on where you should look at. Okay? That is important. And that is a technique right there. Okay? All right. So what else, guys? What is another thing that I would be teaching you about reading for tonight? Okay? Number 1, next, guys, is this one. Some students tend to do this, okay? Sir Joseph, do not panic when you cannot find an answer, okay? Whether you're taking the OET or the IELTS exam, students tend to panic. Oh my gosh, I cannot find the answer for this one and spend too much time on that. Okay? I want you guys to learn the art of moving on. Learn the art of moving on. Okay? Uh, basically, you need to leave it be. Okay? If you cannot find the answer to that, okay, or if you cannot find the keywords to that, do not waste your time. Okay, do not waste your time. Okay, what I would want you to do is to move on to the next questions. Okay, why? Because the answer will usually reveal itself later on. Okay, the answer will reveal itself later on. Okay, so for to some students, they actually spend like 10 minutes, 5 minutes on a question. No, don't. Okay, don't. Okay, if you cannot find the answer there, basically just move on, leave it be. The answer will always reveal itself later on. And of course, guys, next thing is okay. Do not spend more than 1.5 minutes per question. Okay? I always train my students this way. Okay? When you are doing your reading and you feel like you have exceeded more than 1.5 minutes on that question right there, leave it. Okay? Because it's like wasting your time. Okay? It's wasting your time. Really. Okay? So let's say there are 40 questions for the IELTS and 42 questions for the IELTS. 1.5 minute, guys, is almost 1 hour. Right? So you would need to train yourself not to spend more than 1.5 minutes per question. Okay? So again, learn to leave questions behind. But guys, do not leave blank spaces. I repeat, do not leave blank spaces, okay? To some students, they make this a habit of leaving blank spaces and then submitting their answer sheets with blank spaces on them. No, please don't do that, okay? Please never ever do that, okay? Write anything, even if you have to guess. The best thing that could happen, my lovies, is for you to find the answer to that question or guess the answer correctly. Okay, so these are just some of the things that I would want you guys to do when it comes to reading. Now, I'm going to be sending the handout to the admins of IFNG. If you want to finish the reading test right there, it is there on the handout. Okay, now let me just resume my share. Okay, so most important message for tonight. Then you will have success if you are careful to observe the decrees and law of the Lord gave Moses for Israel. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and discouraged. This is First Chronicles 22 verse 13. Some people, they tend to what do you call this? Feel dismayed if success is not there. But you always have to ask yourself, am I good enough to be successful, that the Lord is going to be providing my success for me? Okay, and guys, by the way, let me just promote, if you would want to attend live service or live church service, just search UCKG Philippines. Again, that's UCKG Philippines. They have live services that could talk about your finances, they could talk about your healing for Tuesday, Holy Spirit for Wednesday. Thursday is for family, and Friday is the prayer of deliverance. Okay, so that is UCKG Philippines. Okay, and of course, guys, for the promos of Elite Intellect 9, if you would want to avail of our promos, please do send a message on our Facebook page right there. Elite Focus is now open again for the IELTS review. So if you want to avail Elite Focus, I think Ma'am Tanya will be accepting 15 students for that. Send a message and reserve your slots with Ma'am Tanya. Again, unlimited IELTS review is 4,999 only, discounted from 6,500. OET, we have a free IELTS review with the OET that's 6,500 only. Ay, mali. Sorry guys. For the OET plus IELTS daw po, 5,000 lang. Sabi ni Ma'am Tanya. OET plus IELTS, again, that's 4,999 instead of 6,500. Okay? For NCLEX plus free IELTS review, 7,999 only. And of course, for NMC CBT plus OET review, that is 7,999 only. Brought to you by Elite Intellect 9. So do send a message on our Facebook page right now and tell Ma'am Tanya that you have watched the IFNG live. Okay? Back to you, admins! Hello?
Thank you very much, Sir Clint and Elite Squad, for that informative lecture. And I hope, guys, you have learned a lot from tonight's lecture. Of course, courtesy by the Mother D, the fairy godmother. Thank you so much,
Yes.
sir. On
Thank
behalf
you
of
guys so
the
much.
IFNG admins, thank you, guys, and have a good night. God
Good
bless
night,
everyone.
everyone. God bless. I'll see you next Friday. Mwah!
See you soon. Bye.